water doesn't flow from nature directly into your tap. It starts at a water treatment facility, where it is cleaned, filtered, and made safe to drink. From there, powerful pumps push it outward through a network of underground pipes that branch to homes, businesses, factories, and water towers. The tower is not the source. It is one destination among many, sitting at the end of a pump-fed line. Water towers come in a wide range of sizes. A small tower might stand 50 feet tall and hold just 50,000 gallons. An average municipal tower sits at around 100 to 150 feet and holds between 500,000 and 1 million gallons, roughly equivalent to 25 to 50 swimming pools. Large towers can exceed 200 feet and hold several million gallons. The height and capacity of a tower are not arbitrary. Engineers calculate the height based on the water pressure the distribution system needs, and the capacity based on the population it serves and how much water that population consumes at its busiest moments. The first and least significant reason water towers exist is water storage. Water demand in any city is not constant. It spikes in the morning around 7 a.m. when millions of people wake up, shower, and make coffee simultaneously. It spikes again in the evening when people come home and start cooking. Water utilities can even detect halftime during major football games when millions of people flush toilets at the same moment. At a low point, such as 3 a.m., demand drops to a fraction of its peak. Without storage, the treatment facility would need to match every one of these swings in real time, which is nearly impossible. The water tower absorbs them. During low demand periods, it fills up. During peak demand, it releases. And a fully loaded tower typically cycles through its entire volume once a day. The second and more significant reason is not water storage, but energy storage. Every foot of elevation in a water tower converts into water pressure. Specifically, 0.43 pounds per square inch for every foot of height. A tower standing 150 feet tall delivers around 65 pounds per square inch at ground level, purely through gravity, with no pump running at the moment of delivery. Without a tower, maintaining consistent pressure during peak demand would require pumps powerful enough to meet the highest possible surge, running at maximum capacity for brief windows and then sitting nearly idle the rest of the time. Buying, maintaining, and powering pumps sized for that extreme peak would be astronomically expensive. Instead, the treatment plant runs its pumps at a steady, efficient rate, all day and all night. During the night, the pumps use energy to pump water up the tower, and during the day this stored energy is used for water pressure. The third reason for water towers is emergency resilience. Pumps fail, power goes out, pipes burst. In any of these scenarios, a system that relies entirely on active pumping loses pressure immediately, and a loss of pressure in a water distribution system is dangerous. When pressure drops, the pipes can draw in outside water rather than pushing clean water out, allowing bacteria and contaminants to enter the network. Also, without water pressure, firefighting becomes impossible. With a water tower, gravity keeps the system pressurized, regardless of what is happening with the pumps or the power grid. A full tower buys a city hours, sometimes days, of continued water supply while repairs are made. That buffer has saved lives and prevented public health crises more times than most people will ever know. Once a water tower exists, it presents an opportunity: advertising. Water towers are tall, visible from long distances, and sit above almost everything else in a town or neighborhood. They don't typically carry commercial billboards the way roadside signs do. Instead, they tend to display the town's name, a local high school's name, a community slogan, or a sports team. The exception is privately owned towers. Movie studios, industrial campuses, and large private facilities that operate their own water systems often paint their towers with their own branding. Water towers are not only found on the ground. Some of the most famous are on top of buildings, particularly in New York City, where thousands of rooftop water towers sit above Manhattan's skyline. The reason comes down to physics and the limits of municipal pressure. New York's city water system maintains enough pressure to push water up to roughly 6 stories without assistance. Any building taller than that needs to generate its own additional pressure. Rather than running high-powered pumps continuously, most tall buildings in Manhattan use the same principle as a ground-level tower. Pump water up to a rooftop tank and let gravity distribute it downward through the building at consistent pressure. Interestingly, when you look at the horizontal reinforcement rings that wrap around the outside of these towers' tanks, near the top, those rings are spaced far apart. Near the bottom, they are much closer together. This is not aesthetic. Water pressure increases with depth. The water at the bottom of a tank is under far more pressure than the water at the top, because it has the entire weight of the water above it pressing down. The closer spacing of the rings near the base is structural reinforcement against that increased pressure. The tower is showing you its own physics. The idea of using elevated water for gravity-fed distribution is ancient. The Romans built their aqueduct systems on this principle as early as 300 BC, feeding water into elevated cisterns that distributed it downward through cities. The modern water tower has a distinct structure, a tank elevated on a frame or pedestal specifically to create pressure, emerged in the mid-19th century alongside industrial urbanization and the expansion of city water systems. As steam-powered pumps became available, engineers could lift water to artificial heights for the first time regardless of local terrain. By the late 19th century, water towers had become standard infrastructure across American cities, and the basic engineering principle has not changed since. Elevation creates pressure, pressure moves water, and gravity does it all for free. Today, there are approximately 50,000 to 60,000 water towers in the United States. Most of the rest of the world has far fewer, and the reason is geography. Europe, large parts of Asia, and South America developed their major cities near natural elevation. Mountains, hills, and hillside reservoirs provided the gravity-fed pressure that flat American terrain could not, eliminating the need for artificial towers across much of those continents. Additionally, the parts of the world that do have water towers tend to hide them far more effectively than the United States does. Many European, Middle Eastern, and Asian towers are designed to blend into their surroundings, disguised as architectural features, wrapped in artwork or built into hillsides, so they are barely recognizable as infrastructure at all. Some have become genuine landmarks through creative design. The United States has produced artistic water towers too, but with 50,000 of them scattered across the country, the sheer volume makes individual attention to each one impractical, which is why the American water tower remains one of the most visible and least disguised pieces of public infrastructure in the world. Click the video on your screen right now and I'll explain another everyday mystery you've wondered about your whole life, but never thought to look up.